Holy moly. Isn't the collar just gorgeous? More upright in the upper body. Yeah. Gorgeous. Welcome to the glute show.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to 4 weeks out. If you're new here, I'm Trish. I've been competing for about 14 years. I'm a lifetime natural athlete, and for the first time ever, I'm competing in a new show here in Melbourne called the NPC Naturals, which is on the 27th of July at the Melbourne Pavilion. Do you want the heater on?
Oh, well, we can have it. I wore this for my before video.
This is a pretty typical weekend for me. I've got a client coming in to do her skin fold measurements. She's actually just about to go in for breast augmentation surgery as well as hernia repair. So we're going to do all of her measurements today because she's going to have the next few months off from training. I did try and turn the heater on, but it just died. So poor her, she has to do this in the cold. Oh well.
No heater for you.
No heater for you.
That's okay.
8.4. We'll go axilla, right arm up. Like that.
I can't even remember what to do. You do it every week. You do it every fortnight for how long?
Well, I always do it in a different order as well. I don't know why. 4.4. 9.4. 8. If you've ever competed before, I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say that the posing is the hardest part of competing. It looks like the easiest part, but it's the hardest part. And when you're doing it properly, to me, it hurts more than lifting weights because you have to stop and pause and hold. So it's almost like tempo training when you're lifting weights. When you pause at the most painful part of the rep, that's what posing feels like, but you have to do it with a smile on your face. When I'm training, I make the biggest poo faces, and I appreciate that I can do that because when I'm posing, it hurts just as much, but I can't pull a poo face. I have to smile and make it look like I'm enjoying myself when every muscle in my body is aching. Plus, I'm trying to twist and arch, and your lower back just gets worked really, really hard, and you have to make it look beautiful and graceful, and it's just much, much harder than it looks. If you're competing, one of the most valuable things that you can do is weigh and measure all of your food. And I would go so far as to say that it doesn't really matter what diet you do. What matters is whether you weigh and measure all of your meals, because it's so easy to accidentally go off track. And if you're just eyeballing things, you can be so far out without even realizing. So when I'm competing, I weigh and measure everything, and it's not to make sure that my calories are low, it's just to make sure that I'm on track, that I'm not going too far over, too far under, and that I'm sticking with the amount that's planned. So you can certainly follow a meal plan, but I think it's so important to track how closely you stick to that plan. Because then when you do your check-in videos, which is what I'm about to show you now, I do these weekly at the moment, you've got a really accurate record of what you ate and also how you trained, because most people would track their reps and sets when they train. They just don't want to do it with their food. But if you do it with both, then when you do your check-in videos and look at your body composition, you've got a proper and an accurate record of what you did to get that result. So if, for example, you're looking at your body composition and you have stagnated or plateaued for whatever reason, you've got a really accurate and honest account of what you've been doing up to that point. So you could look at your own data, and that's your training data and your nutrition data, and make adjustments to what has been happening. Whereas, for example, if you just follow a meal plan but you don't track how closely you stuck to it, then when you hit a plateau, you've got no real information on what to change next, because it's the stuff that's not on the meal plan that you need to address. So for example, maybe you're under eating, you're snacking too much, there's lots of little bites and tastes in between, too many off meals, you don't know. So I think it's better to have both. You have a plan, like you have a training program, and then you track your reps and sets to see how closely you adhered to that program. Same with your nutrition, you should always have a plan, and then you should track how closely you stuck to that plan. So if you need to make adjustments, you can. I decided to take another set of skin fold readings today because at this point, being 4 weeks out, I think it's a really valuable and useful time to take readings, because there's still time to make a few adjustments. There probably won't be much more to go. I would like to be ready by 2 weeks out and not need to make any more changes. And I like to share these results with you too, because I think people find this stuff really helpful. I know for me personally, the skin fold readings are just kind of an icing on the cake, I suppose, because I can see in my body that I'm ready. But sometimes when you do the skin fold readings, it also gives you that validation because you can see the numbers written on paper. But now that I'm getting quite lean, and you'll see this now too when I put the numbers up on the screen, that there's not a huge amount of difference from one set of readings to the next. And sometimes the readings go up. For example, I'm due another period, so I might be a little bit more fluidy around my triceps. But also when you get leaner, your skin gets stretchier, and so sometimes I think you can pull the skin away from the muscle a little bit easier, and so that can skew the readings. So I've been doing this for a long time now, and I know not to take the readings too literally. For example, if I don't get the reading that I'm hoping for or wanting, then I'm not going to change the processes. It's just a record of the result that was achieved from the work that's been done. And if you look on previous competition seasons, then I can compare myself where I'm at now to where I was when I was 4 weeks out from all my other shows. And I think that's the bit that's helpful. So the first time you compete, you have no reference point for yourself. That's why I think it's good to keep doing it. Mondays, I spend a lot of time on the computer because I reserve that day to go through all my online client profiles and see what they've sent me for the week. I like doing it on Mondays because I can see the last 7 days worth of data, and I can look at it as a kind of a bird's eye view. So how many training sessions have they done? How compliant have they been with their food? Have they completed their tutorials for the week? Little things like that. And if they need some individualized feedback, I'll send it there. So for example, if they've sent me technique videos, food diaries, then I'll send them some feedback on where they're at and what they need to do next. So Monday, I'm pretty much an office worker. I like to get it all done on a Monday, so it's a little bit succinct and I'm not taking too long to get back to people either. And it's more helpful for me as a coach to be able to see a full 7 days worth of information before I send them any feedback. And I try not to take too many online clients, because as much as I enjoy coaching people online, for me it's still an office job, and I still like to have that hands-on experience too. So I have a small amount of face-to-face clients, and I like to operate on a hybrid model. So I don't want to spend too many days sitting at a computer, because it's not good for my body either. Once upon a time, I was a 9-to-5 office worker, and I could feel my body seizing up. So I'm happy to have that time on a Monday to really invest into my online clients. But with my business, I like to be able to have the rest of the week to do face-to-face training, be with people, go to the gym, network. That's just a system that really works for me, especially because I want to have the time to eat and train for my own goals as well. I haven't shared a lot of training in this video because I've done it so much in all the other videos, and I've been literally doing the same workouts every week and just striving to go heavier or add reps. But I have been doing a lot more targeted ab exercises too, which I haven't done for years, and I've actually really enjoyed that. So I thought I'd share my last working set from this workout, and then in my next video I'm going to show more training. I just felt like this time I had so much more to show you with the body composition and the check-ins and the food and stuff like that. So I thought I'd save it all for next week. A few weeks ago I made a video where I was describing my journey, and I just started fucking crying my eyes out. And I didn't mean to, but that's genuinely how I was feeling. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna post it. And funnily enough, that's one of my best performing videos of all time. I'm not even going to link it for you, because if you're watching this video, then chances are you're going to be suggested that one by YouTube after you've watched this one. But anyway, I posted that and heaps of views. And so many people told me that when I did that, I humanized myself. And I was like, but I am a human. I'm not trying to humanize myself, because I can't pretend to be something I already am. Yesterday, I had one of those down days where I wanted to quit. I wanted to actually pull out of doing this competition, because like I've said in a few previous videos, this prep is probably the worst one I've ever done in terms of things going wrong in my life outside of prep, but just obviously making me feel tired, lethargic and stressed. The most workouts I've missed, the most times I've gone off the plan with my food, sleep deprived, external stresses, the lot. This has been the worst prep I've ever done. And so I've tried to share what that feels like. And I can understand why from an outsider's perspective, seeing the human side is the most valuable part, because it shows that the journey is real. It's not just the outcome, it's the ups and downs all the way along. Because if I look at the people that I look up to or that I aspire to be like, I respect them because of what they've achieved, but I love them because they've humanized themselves. So I think you can look up to someone but not genuinely like them or love them. You can just respect what they've achieved. And then there's those people that you respect and you love, because you look up to them for what they've done, but you love them because they also have found a way to humanize themselves. And that's being open and honest with all the shit things. So when you're feeling down, when you want to quit, when you've gone backwards, when you've done all the things that are opposite to what got you to that result. And I think that's what's been great about this journey, and not that I would wish a bad prep on me or anyone else, but I'm glad that I chose to document this one early on, because I didn't know that it was going to be my worst one, my hardest one, when I would want to quit nearly every day of this prep. But I've basically I stapled my bollocks to the wall with this, because I started documenting it on YouTube. And lots of people are invested. Like, I've got friends saying they're tuning in to all my videos, which is amazing. And I don't want to let them down. So now I'm doing it for them and not for me. So again, I'm telling you now, yesterday, Tuesday, less than 4 weeks out, my body is in the right position. My body is where it needs to be, I think, for the show. But mentally, I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't care. I've just had enough. Too many things have gone wrong. I haven't even had a chance to really focus on it. I haven't done as much posing practice as I wanted to do. I could have been better with my food. I could have slept more. I could have blah, 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 blah. That was me yesterday, and I was like, fuck it. I've done that many comps before. Will anyone really judge me if I quit? That's all the stuff that was going through my head. And then today, after a good night's sleep, I did a really good mobility class this morning. I don't know what it is about that class, but I always feel better in my head for the rest of the day. And that, just doing that workout this morning, whew, I feel so much better in my head already. I don't know if I'm humanizing myself, because I am a human. You can tell me which parts are human and which are not. But yesterday, it was And today it's, yeah, I'm back on. 3.5 weeks out.